Hello. I'm gonna be cutting this image out here. This is Admiral General Aladdin from the Dictator movie, and I'll be showing how I do it in Photoshop. And right now, it's relatively white. It's like an off-white. It's like grayish, but it's on a he has black hair, so it's already good contrast. So um, I'll be using this swatch, and it's off black. It's like gray black, and it's really good for showing mistakes on hair when you think you're done. So first, I'm gonna go straight into the curves because I want to turn all this white. So, and to do that, you just hit Control M. But if you don't know the shortcuts, it's up here in Image Adjustments, Curves, and I'm gonna use the white eyedropper here and just go right around his hair, but not in the hair. But up here, there's still part of the background that's still gray. If you hit Alt, and it'll show it more. And if you just hit like that, there you go. It's good. Zoom in a little bit, and that's pretty good. Do that a little bit more. We're good. You can turn this black if you want to make it more stand out, but it's really not necessary, but we'll just do it just for the heck of it. Um, Now we have our image that's curved, and if you want to like be meticulous about it, you can name it. But once you get done with all this, you want to make an alpha, and alphas are in the channels. But to do that, you need to go into image up here, and then you want to go straight to the calculations, and essentially you want to have your hair white in the background uh, black, or vice versa. It really doesn't matter as long as you know how to reverse it. So if you want to, you can invert these two, um, but sometimes you don't have to. And you can use channels and to make it more stand out. But I normally always use red and blue, but in this case I'm going to use the red. And then uh, it gets to the more difficult part to make the hair stand out even more just by using the channels. You need to go into the blending mode, and in the blending mode there's all these different options here, and you normally just want to hit something like, if you hit like linear burn, it does it a lot rough, but you want it like somewhat soft around his hair follicles. So on this it would be screen, and screen is really good because it shows a lot of detail on his top part of his hair. So we're just gonna hit OK on that, and then once you hit OK, you want to go into the channels, because once you get done with the calculations and all that stuff that you hit and that you chose, it creates an alpha. And then what alpha is essentially a mask without actually having the mask. It's just setting you up for it. So there's still like speckles of black in his head here, and I want to make this all white. So I'm just going to make a quick selection around his head to get all this to be white. And this part of the selection, you don't have to be so uh, detailed or meticulous about it. I mean, you can be as rough as you want, but you at least want a good selection around so you can mask it out later. And about right here is difficult. And then every image is also a little bit different, but essentially the tools that you need to use are the same. So once you get all that done, this is all going to be turned to white. And uh, there is no like red and colors. It's purely black and white in alpha, and it's the same in masks. It's always black and white. And I want to turn this white. So I would hit X to go from the foreground to the background. So, and then you hit Alt backspace to fill in what I already selected, and then you can deselect it by clicking out here, or you can hit Control D and whatever. But all this here I don't need. Actually, I'm going to do that later because I actually might need some of the stuff around here. So we have a good selection on the hair. His head is definitely done, but down here his body is not going to be taken care of until later. So you hit Control and then you click on the alpha. That selects the whole alpha channel, and then I'm not going to go on my image that I altered. I'm going to go on the image, an original image. So I hit the mask button down here, and then that creates a pixel mask on an original image. Now everything that was beyond outside here, I didn't get some of this stuff out here because it was just I didn't need to, but now I can get it again since I'm in a mask. And in order to make things transparent in a mask, you have to use black and white, and black is always going to be transparent. So as you can see, there's still some ickies here, and if you want to fill that in, you just hit Alt backspace and that's done. And now I have this problem, this gray part of the head or his gray part of the hair, and it's supposed to be transparent, but it leaves a fringe, but yet it's detailed enough where I can see follicles of his hair. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this again so I always have a backup. And I'm going to go on the image with the clone stamp tool, and I'm going to just get a pretty good size, and then the opacity will be 35. That's pretty good. I'm just going to sample part of his hair, and I'm just going to stamp this out. And for just this section of his hair, that looks pretty good. And yet, it's still on the mask. It's still going to be somewhat transparent up here, but yet when you see it on a background, that you put it on a background, it'll be what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to stop this video and I'm going to speed it up, and when I get done with the hair, I'll come back and finish the body here. Okay, so we got the hair all done up top and his outside of the beard, and I left a little part of there's still part of the background on his ear, so I'm going to take care of that real quick. And you can do this by using the pen tool, and getting the pen tool will probably be best, but I'm just going to use the polygonal tool because it's a lot more quicker. And we're just going to get this real quick. And get that taken care of. And there we go. And then I'm on the mask, so I would hit Alt backspace. And that sort of looks like somewhat crap, but I'm going to be lowering the image size so you really won't be noticing it that much. And then there's the fringe on the outside here, so I really don't need this part of the image. So I'm going to delete, oops, I'm going to delete this part because I don't need it. And then same thing, just hit Control or Alt backspace. And now the head is done, the hair is done. And now I'm going to go back to an original image and do the shoulders down. And I would normally use the pen tool for this, but I'm going to do quick select and fix what needs to be fixed after. So we'll just do quick select on the body and get the shoulder up here. Do this real quick. And that looks to be pretty good. And we'll just do another quick mask. And there's some things left in the background that's in the mask, so we'll just take care of that real quick. Do that. And we'll try and fix or salvage the lines, because as you can see, some of these lines are kind of bad, and we'll try and fix that later. And there's still background here, and we'll just do this real quick. Try to get as close as you can. Normally with a pen tool you can do this a lot better because it can follow those curves, but I'm trying to do this as fast as possible for the sake of trying to keep the size down. And on this, there's that you would normally want to do a different way, but I'm still going to go back to the clone stamp tool and just clone it out. We'll drop that down a little bit, and we'll just do that. And there we go. Oops. Now I gotta do up here a little bit. And that's pretty good. And then the same could be done over here. And just get to the edges. And there we go. We have somewhat pretty good. And there's still a little bit of the background and the edges are still. So what we're going to do is we're going to select the mask by just hitting Control and then clicking on the mask. And then what I want to do is I want to drop this down a few pixels. So I'm going to go to Modify, Contract, and I'm going to contract it by 2 seems to be pretty good. And then it's already contracted too, so I would need to invert the selection. So by hitting Control Shift I would invert it, and then the same goes for deleting those pixels out of my selection, and so that would be Alt backspace again. And as you can see, everything is out that I need to be out, and then this sort of just didn't get taken out, so I'll just do this real quick. And then that looks to be pretty good. So now we have this head in the image, and I don't need his head to be in there, so I'm just gonna select his head out because I already fixed it in my first mask. So we're gonna paste the other mask on top, or put it on top as a layer. So we got that, and then this is my original one. We'll put that on top, and there we go. And then this needs to be fixed, and looks like it goes like that. So we'll just do this real quick and put it back on this one, and this time I need to show this part, so I'm going to use white, and there we go, there's the white. and that looks to be pretty good now. And if you really want to know what it looks like, instead of having uh, a black image, you can use a white image. So we'll go to a white one, see what it looks like, and that looks pretty good. And then you can be even more, see what it looks like on a background, and we'll just do that. And I really don't like how this image is kind of big, so we'll turn this down to an even 1000 on the height, and we'll just do that. Oops, there we go. And now our Admiral General Aladdin is in New York, and his hair looks really good around. As you can see, you can somewhat see through it, and his body is real good, and we're pretty much done. I mean, you can do a little bit more detail around it, but that's pretty much it. And it looks even better, I think, on this background. But that's pretty much how I do most of my hair. And I'm Kif, by the way. I'm at Signature Labs. You can come check us out. You can come check me out if you want. Thank you for watching.